Here are the top 3 steps to make more money in 2020. With a brand new year about to start, it's the perfect time to get this done. Now, in this video, I'm going to give you the 3 actionable steps that you should take right now to start the year off right and to make 2020 the best year yet. Now, doing these 3 steps is going to put you in the same class as the top 1%. It can help you make more money in 2020 than you've imagined. So stay tuned. All right, welcome back. So if you're new to the channel, I like to talk about investing. I like to talk about personal finance, business, other success principles. And with the new year coming, it's the perfect time to talk about this. It's time to set goals, New Year's resolutions. It's kind of this clean slate that we can start the new year off the right way. We can build those habits that we've been wanting to do and so many other things. And so we're going to talk about the 3 things that you should do to start the year off right so you can make more money in 2020 and for the rest of your life. These are principles that you can build off of. Now, the problem is that most people don't really think about money. And when I say they don't think about money, they spend a lot of time thinking about money. They spend a lot of time thinking about making money, how they want to spend their money, but they don't really think about what they're going to do with their money after they make it, other than just quickly spending it, right? So you spend all this time thinking about your job, going to school, getting good grades, getting a good job, focusing on your job, getting good at your job so you can make more money. But then what about after you've made that money? A lot of times you just hand it over to someone to let them invest it, just throw it into some fund, who knows where it goes. Maybe you don't invest it at all. And if you're doing that, you're missing out on massive opportunities. Massive opportunities to use that money strategically to be able to grow it. And you're probably taking on way more risk than you need to. Now, the problem with this, the pain part, is that you're probably never going to get wealthy. You'll probably never achieve your dreams if that's what you're doing. If you're not focusing on growing your money, unfortunately you have to. And so even if you do achieve your dreams, even if you do get wealthy, it's going to take you way too long to get there, way longer than it should. And so what we do about that is we spend a little bit of time thinking about that, right? We need to put together a plan. I always talk about success leaves clues. We find other people that have had success. We see what they've done, we do the same things, and we should have about the same results. So we build a plan based off of best principles, and I like to keep it simple, stupid. KISS, it's a management term. So we don't need to make this overly complex. Financial advisors on Wall Street, they want to make it super complicated so you're dependent on them. But you don't have to be. But you do need to spend some time thinking about this, and more importantly, thinking about you. Because your situation is different than my situation. Your situation is different this year than it was last year, and probably what it will be, hopefully, will be next year. And so you need to spend a little bit of time thinking about this. And I think about this story from Abraham Lincoln a lot in regards to this. And he was asked, or he said, if I had 5 minutes to chop down a tree, I'd spend the first 4 minutes sharpening an axe. And most people, if you spend 4 minutes sharpening the axe, you can chop the tree down super easy. And most people are like, I don't have time to sharpen the axe. I got to chop down the tree. But they're doing it with a weak or a dull axe. And so if we can just spend a little bit of time making a plan and a little bit of time building that, constructing and following it, we're going to achieve our dreams way faster than we've ever been to or thought about before. So we're going to build a system, which is, it's basically, like I said, a success plan. It's a guide that we can follow. And what it does when we have that successful plan, that guide, is it takes the emotion out of it. It's super important to take the emotion out of it, especially when it's about money, because, we get emotional about money, right? We get excited if we're making it, and we make bad decisions. We get scared or sad if we're losing it, and we make bad decisions because of that. So we want a successful plan, take the emotion out of it, and also keep it easy to follow. Keep it easy to keep up on, right? And now after we have that successful plan, we need to build habits. The habits are the things that we're going to be able to do on autopilot. It takes a lot of energy for us to think, and so that's why the body kind of pushes back. It doesn't want us to think because it takes too much energy. We want to work on autopilot, and so we need to build habits around the systems, and we do that through small, consistent things done over a long period of time. And what most people want is they want something to be really hard, and if I can just figure it out and do it one time, it can drastically change my life. But the reality is that it's not the big one thing. It's the small little things that are done consistently over long periods of time. And the best performers in the world, the best business people, the best athletes, they know that it's the habits done consistently that yield the most results. And then we need discipline. Now, maybe you don't like that word discipline. Maybe it makes you shudder a little bit thinking about discipline. Most of us want comfort in our lives. We don't want discipline, but unfortunately we have to. It's the most important trait for your life if you want to have success. Now, I have kids and they need to be disciplined, right? They don't know, they can't get themselves to do what's right. They don't have the perspective. But adults, we should be able to self-discipline ourselves. And so we're going to self-discipline ourselves. We're going to follow our system. All right, so that set the stage. Let's get right into it. So these are the 3 actionable steps that you need to be taking right now. So step number 1. Step number 1 is that you need to take an assessment. You need to take an honest assessment. And the reason why I say honest is because a lot of times we don't want to know. We'd rather just put our head in the sand and not really take an honest assessment of where we're at today. But it's so important. And so you need to look at your income. How much money are you making? How much money do you have saved up? What bank accounts do you have? What do your investments look like? What's your educational level for investments like? Your sophistication? How much time do you have spent focusing on this? And so take an honest assessment of that, because based off of your resources, that's going to have a lot to do with determining what you can do moving forward. If you don't have much sophistication in investments, then you need to start focusing on learning more, right? If you only have a little bit of money, it's going to change how you're going to invest. If you have a lot of money, it's going to change how you invest, right? So that's step 1, an honest assessment. Now, step number 2, we have to figure out exactly where we want to go. What are your goals, right? What's your time horizon? Now, everybody's goals are different. Your goals today are going to be different than your goals in a couple of years. And so we need to always do this. We need to figure out where we want to go. Of course, if you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there, right? You can't just get in your car and start driving around or jump in a sailboat and just get blown around by the wind. You need to set course, and you need to trim, and you need to adjust for that course to make sure you get where you want to go. And so what are your goals? What are your time horizon, right? And like I said, those change. I have a daughter that's going to start driving here pretty soon, so I have to buy her a car. In 2 years, she's going off to college. I need to adjust my investments based off of that. Maybe you're retiring soon. I know for myself, I've told my story. I had to kind of rebuild everything about a decade ago. And in the beginning, my goal was to just try to grow my investment capital as fast as I could. And then after a couple of years, my investment capital started growing, my business started doing really well, and I had to adjust my plans. And then I wanted to start investing for cash flow. And I decided that I wanted to get my cash flow to exceed my living expenses as fast as I could. And so my plans, my goals changed, my timelines changed. And so once you've done the step 1, the assessment, step 2, figure out where you want to go, is step 3, is you got to build the plan. Build the plan, and we need to adjust the plan. I put that as 2 parts. So build and adjust the plan. And so, like I said, January 1st is the perfect time to do this. And so once you know who you are as an investor, how much money I have, my sophistication, how much time, and I know where I want to go, now I know what my options are. Now I need to build a plan. So for example, if you have a really small investment account, you're just trying to grow it as fast as you can, then you want to put a lot of it into growth type assets. So that could be more risky type stuff. So stocks, tech stocks, pharmaceutical stocks, cryptocurrencies, cannabis stocks, things like that. If you're maybe on a shorter time horizon, like you're retired or you want to retire soon, maybe you want to focus more on cash flow, right? I want to preserve what I have and make income off of that. And so there's combinations of that based off of those 2 answers, and then you make the plan. Now, I have a plan. I've had the plan for a long time, but I use January 1st as a time to go over the plan, to maintain my plan. So a story of this, for example, would be back in 2016, I was in cryptocurrencies. I still am, obviously. I talk about them all the time. And at the time, I decided that I wanted about 30% of my total assets to have exposure to cryptocurrencies. Well, by the end of 2017, by January 1st of 2018, it had grown to like 80% of my portfolio. It went up like crazy, right? And so when I sat down January 1st, 2018, I said, well, that's it's too high. I don't want my investments to be that portfolio allocation to be that high. And so I sold it down to back to 30% where it's supposed to be. I took those profits and I put them into other areas, real estate, gold, etc. Well, by January 1st, 2019, then all of a sudden, my crypto was way down too low. The market crashed all the way through 2018. And so now it was only 5% of my portfolio or 7% of my portfolio. So I took my cash, I took my gold, and I sold it and I put it back into crypto. And it just so happened I sold at the top of the market. I bought back in at the bottom, not because I had some crystal ball, not because I can tell you that I could predict the markets, not because I understand technical analysis. No, because I had a system. I have the habit of following it on a regular basis. So with January 1st rapidly approaching, it's time for you to take these 3 steps and build your own plan. All right, so what are your next steps? I don't really know, right? We all have our own unique circumstances. We're all in a different place, right? I'm in a different place now than I was last year, and hopefully than I will be next year. And so you need to figure out where you are. Take step number 1. But for example, if you're a really high net worth individual, maybe you should go hire someone, right? I hire people now. I have a guy, I've talked about this before, I pay a company, a guy $30,000 a year just to do my tax strategy alone, right? I hire someone to specialize in that. So if you're high net worth, maybe you need to go hire someone. If you're lower level and you're not ready to spend $30,000 on tax planning, well then you can take courses, learn on your own, right? There's plenty of free resources, there's plenty of books, plenty of courses, plenty of stuff online that you can do, but it just depends on what your unique specific situation is. Now, I did put together a 20-page guide. You can download it in the description down below. There's a 20-page report, and it goes through basically everything I've talked about. It takes you through step 1, how to figure out where you are, step 2, figure out where you're going, and then step 3, how to build that plan. So if you want to download that, you can go through all that. And again, I'd highly recommend doing it at the first of the year. Start the year off right and make more money in 2020. Now, if you like this video, give me some thumbs up on this video. Hopefully you did. If you didn't, give me some thumbs down. Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear it from each and every one of you. Of course, I respond to every single comment. And just let me know. Just type yes plan if you have a plan, and type no plan if you don't have a plan. And I'll do whatever I can to make additional videos, additional training to help you guys out with this. All right? To your success. I'm out.